Hello, YouTube. This is Chris from Team Universe X, Team R4S. And before all the colors are released, I actually just want to start on this series about just talking about some of the cards, at least giving you a place to look at all of them if you just don't want to look at the site, and just kind of hear my thoughts on them. Of course, please like, comment, and subscribe in this video. This is just a hobby, but everybody likes when their hobby feels more validated. So please help me feel validated. And also discuss in the comments because I like forums, but I don't really like being on the super group sometimes because it gets kind of really not cool. Depending on the people, there's good conversation everywhere, but then you just have some mean, toxic people. It doesn't matter. Point being, first and foremost in green, we're going to start off with the leaders, of course. We have got Piccolo. We've been waiting for a Piccolo leader since set one, and yeah, I mean his front side is pretty generic. He's got the when this card attacks leader card, draw one card, awaken, 4 less. You may untap 2 of your energy. Now the untap isn't as much as a neg as it used to be like in set 2, because we're finding that more and more these leaders are just actually set 3. Sorry, we're finding more and more that these leaders are getting cards and deck compositions that draw more so and search more. So the untap 2 is actually pretty good utility. But his front side is very generic. On top of that, even though he's Namekian God Universe 7, he doesn't have Warrior of Universe 7, meaning you can't really play him with a full Rainbow Universe 7 deck. You kind of have to focus on 1 to 2 colors, which is kind of weird. I feel like they dropped the ball on that one. But flipping him over, permanent Bond 2, and Bond is one of the couple of mechanics they're releasing in Colossal Warfare. Bond Namekian. This skill takes effect if you have 2 or more of the specified battle cards, and in this case Namekian, in play. This card gains critical. So as long as you have 2 Namekian on board, this card will have critical. And whenever he attacks, you draw 1 card. Then choose up to 1 Namekian in your battle area and it gains 5,000 power for the turn. So it's really trying to focus on hard on you building a board. And all in all, this leader is not that strong. He's kind of my cat starts meowing, just please ignore it. He's kind of just basic. It's nice that we have another critical leader, and it's nice that his critical capability can last for quite some time as long as you can keep your stuff on board. But that's the fact of the matter. You still have Kale, you still have even old school Champa, you've got, more importantly, Mass Sand. It might be a little harder than expected to keep these things on the board. But let's move on. Lord Slug. Activate once per turn. In your main, you choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. This card gains critical for the duration of the turn. If your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. So on its front side, it is literally a green Vegeta. It's a little lazy, but at the same time, I do like critical in other colors, simply because critical is pretty much one of the only ways that aggro can actually flourish, in my opinion. So flipping over, Lord Slug Gigantified. If this card attacks, draw 1 card. Once per turn, place 1 card from your life into your hand into the drop area. Your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in the drop area. So, with this card, it seems like what they tried to do was move a little forward in terms of what you can do on his flip side. Because Vegeta's flip side is arguably, sometimes his flip side game is weaker than his front side game. His front side game hammers you with critical, it aggresses. His backside is just kind of almost any other leader, and every now and then he can dig back into that well and crit you. So this is pretty nice that you eventually can try to work to neg your opponent. If you've already been critting them, and maybe your other deck is made to push advantage out of your hand, and you start taking cards off of them with your leader in exchange for one of your cards, yes, you minus when they minus, but if you're doing it on your terms, sometimes that can be a little bit of an edge. Newfound Power Son Gohan. Oh boy. He's a Saiyan. We already know that's one of the most broken type traits you could have. But auto, when this card attacks, you can choose 1 card in your life, add it to your hand. If you do, this card gains 10,000 power and critical. So he's basically a Kaba, but instead of gaining double strike, he gains critical. He's also in another color. This means a lot of things. This means that green now has arguably the best 1-drop in the game, because Kaba had that spot previously. This means that in a red-green deck, such as SS3, or anything you really want to do with it, you've got great options. Gohan is a better one drop in the first couple turns. However, Kaba is a one drop that can push game if your opponent's at 2 life. So you have a lot of viable things. And the good part about that is that allows you to keep mana open if you have a lot of viable one drops. It's really actually savage. And the worst part is if you're playing red green, then I mean, what's this guy plus Champa? That's a 2 energy 2500 crit double strike, and that is disgusting. That gains you a card from your life. So this card, A1. Power Barrier Piccolo. 2 drop, barrier, not even blocker. It's just kind of there. He is simply here so that you can play him for 2, and he can sit on your field, and you can never swing with him, and he helps set up for Bond. So that's literally what he's there for. Reign of Terror King Piccolo. Dual attack main. Place this card, or dual attack activate main. Place this card in your drop area. Choose up to 1 energy, switch to active mode, then choose up to 1 Piccolo or Piccolo Jr. with an energy cost of 4 or less from your hand and play it. I don't really like this card. I don't really see it being played. 5 is a lot to ask from this game's energy pool without winning you the game or pushing the game state in a point where you are winning. And this dude just attacks twice for 25k and then sacrifices himself and untaps 1 mana and plays a Piccolo. And I understand that, yes, that's an extra card. You play him, you swing twice, you draw the Piccolo. That's cool and all. It's just that if you ask me, you could have just played that Piccolo or Piccolo Jr. that's 4 or less from your hand, kept that open mana, and then just... I don't really see the point of this card. Gift of Power Guru. 1 drop. Activate main once per turn. Choose one of your battle cards and give it plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. That's excellent, but it doesn't have barrier, so Mass Sand is the only thing you eat it along with every other destruction just on the side. Like, oh, you only have a 2 drop and a 2 drop? Well, let me kill that Guru on the side because I can kill up to 5. So that's just kind of what that is. Nail the Namekian Ace. Auto Bond 2. When this card attacks, draw 1 card and this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. It's a sister attack, Kale, but it's for Bond. So, of course, its value is pretty good. It's 2 drop, going to go up to 15, draw you a card. If they don't answer it, it's going to just advantage you into... It's just going to give you more and more advantage throughout the course of the game. Kami the Watcher. Namekian, Bond 2. If you have... Yeah, of course, if you meet the bond requirements, reduce the energy card of this card, or energy cost in this card in your hand by 5. So, when you play it, you draw a card. So basically, if you have 2 Namekians on board, he's a boo. That's literally what that is. And that's kind of cool too, but he is conditional. So if your opponent has been wrecking you or really maintaining your board, this dude is just going to be a 3-drop boo, and that is not what we want. So I kind of feel like it's a fair weather card. It may find its way into the decks, but my main thing is if your game is going well, he's excellent. If you're behind or your opponent's aggressing hard enough, he's really kind of a brick, and that's meh. Kind-hearted Namekian Dende. He's just the generic top 3 searcher for Namekians. Popo Guardian's Aid. When you attack or combo with this card, if your leader card is green, place up to the top 3 cards in your deck to the drop area. It's a self-mill with no real milling things into this color as of yet. So I'm assuming some Overwhelm is going to tie in really well. It seems like a blatant card that they just want to put in to help your Overwhelm with your leader color. Namekian Duo, Sentinel. Super combo for Namekians. He has Alien, Namekian, and Universe 6. So he's actually cool. I mean, he got released. I was wondering where these guys were in the TOP set. But he's a super combo specifically for Namekians, and he activates at 5 life instead of 4. Namekian Duo Purina. Activate main. Once per turn, choose 1 Namekian from your hand and place it on this card. Draw 1 card, and this card gains 10,000 power and critical. Love it, love it, love it. He only costs 2. He goes up to a 20k critical, and he does that by absorbing a Namekian, but he replaces that Namekian in your hand by drawing. Love this card. Champa makes it a monster too. 30k crit. Ugh. Lord Slug Young Again. 4-drop. Bond 2 Slug's Army. Basically, yep, if you the bond requirements are met, when you play this card, if your leader is Slug's Army, choose up to 1 Slug's Army in your drop area with an energy cost of 3 or less and play it, then choose up to 1 of your energy and switch to active mode. Again, kind of don't like it. He's 4. He has a lot of setup. You have to have 2 Slug's Army, not even just 2 Namekians, 2 Slug's Army, and that's really weird niche archetype-ish. But if you do feel like building that deck, he will recur things and he will draw. Well, he'll recur things and he'll end up just switching energy to active mode. But I feel like it's kind of hard to use. Lord Slug, return to form, 2-drop. When you play this card, choose up to 1 Slug's army from your deck, energy costs 4 or less, and add it to your hand. Shuffle it. Ugh, more Leg Slug support. Now this guy's actually pretty good though. Adonic Warrior Angela. Critical, 3 cost, bond 2 Slug's army. When this card attacks, if your leader card Slug's army, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and place in the drop area. So he's already pressuring life with crit, but he also pressures hand if his bond is met. And that's cool and all, but I mean, I'm not trying to play all these bad Lord Slug cards because lots of them are not really cost efficient. Some of them are just straight up bad, like this one, Head Honcho, Metamacha. He, if your leader is literally Lord Slug, he just makes a 5,000 combo, just a meta token, and you pay 2 mana just to get a 10k and a 5k token. This guy, whatever. Dark Vassal Tambourine, 2-drop, 1500, critical, generic. We had them before. We are having them again. Moving on, Dark Vassal Symbol. He is just a little blocker for 1. And then you got vanillas in here. I don't know why they even wasted card stock on these. But then we're going to move to Special Beam Cannon. Special Beam Cannon, if your leader card is Piccolo, it gains 10,000 power for the duration of the battle. Then choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand and place in the drop area. Pretty cute. Goes up. Your dude's already critical. You're going up in power. You're trying to take a card from your opponent's hand so that they have less to defend you with, and you can always nab things like negates and super combos, and if you're lucky enough. Then, if it wants to actually go over, we have got Planet Namek. Field card. When you activate it, once per turn, you pay green, then you choose up to 1 card in your hand and place it into your drop area. Link it up to the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 1 Namekian with an energy cost of 2 or less amongst them, put them into play. This card is really good. You can play it on turn 1. On turn 2, activate it to put a Namekian in if you don't whiff, and you still have 1 mana up. Turn 3, you can do that again and then play another Namekian on curve. And it's just gross. If you have multiple Z's in your hand, you could play it turn 1, use it on turn 2. Turn 3, use it, play another one, use it again. And you're still playing on curve, but you're cheating things out. Eventually, you're paying 1 mana to just nab a 2 cost, which means you're always, staying up on mana and playing a little below curve, which is excellent. I think this card is really good. Sacrifice. Negate the attack. If your leader card is Namekian, you may activate this card's counter by just paying 1 life. This seems to be a new cycle, but yes, it's basically a negate that can help you awaken early turns, which is mostly important for the crit-based matchups because when they try to crit you, and before they can combo with their Champas, you're just like, nope, I'm going to take that life, but I'm going to take it on my terms, and it's not going to go to my graveyard. So there's that. Next thing we're going to look at real quick, just the new cards coming out in the starter deck for green. So we got starter deck Piccolo Jr. When this card attacks leader card, draw a card. Energy is or when your life is at 4 or less, untap 2 of your energy, switch into active mode. Again, mad generic. But then he flips over to have this Piccolo Jr. Evil Reborn. When this card attacks, draw a card. Okay. Once per turn, activate main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and with an energy cost of 5 or less, and KO it. And this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. That's actually really hot. That's a fair amount of destruction on it. And 5 or less gives you a lot of room for lots of impactful cards. So just once per turn, green, Special Beam Cannon, something off the field, and then it's done. Actually, he doesn't even have Special Beam Cannon at this point anymore. Well, before that. This is like Dragon Ball Piccolo. But the point is, that's pretty strong. Moving forward, my boy, Indomitable Link, Son Gohan. When you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. The energy costs are 4 or less and KO it. I think this dude kind of invalidates TP Broly in a non-Broly deck because Shugesh can drop this guy and have a much better range of choices. Because now in more and more days, your setup brings you out of range for Broly to pick you off because you got a bunch of dorks on the field. Also, he's 1 more card for Big Gohan and TOP to drop, and I'm all about that. And then you've got Indomitable Link Piccolo, who says he's a 2-drop, so it says when he's played, you search a Son Gohan Adolescence with an energy cost of 3 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. Wonderful. It's going to make Malls a lot better with the Gohan deck. You'll turn 1 Goku, get a Universe 7, and then he's going to be there for combo fodder. Then you turn 2 Piccolo, and Piccolo searches for Gohan. He's there for combo fodder. Those are both strictly +2 cards. You have 6 cards in hand, and you're going second. You draw up to 7. You go down to 6 again to play mana. You go down to 5 to play Goku. Goku brings you back up to 6 because he replaces himself if you hit. You swing with Goku, you go up to 8. So that was just like a little like tiny little +1. But then next turn, you draw up to 9, you go down to 8, play your mana, go down to 7 to play your Piccolo. Piccolo searches a Gohan, you're back at 8, you swing, you're at 10 now. It's just incremental advantage, and I think that's really excellent. Sorry for the camera drifting. I was really getting to my Gohan's feel. So moving past that, you got King Piccolo, Lord of Terror, Double Strike, Bond Namekian 3. Ugh. You can reduce the card in energy cost in this hand by 2. So basically, when you have 3 Namekians on field, you can drop this dude for 3 costs, 2 green, 1 colorless. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy costs are 5 or less and KO it. It's a decent card. I just don't really think that Bond 3 is reliable. You never know. But I just don't think it's reliable right now because none of these dudes really had barrier. Namekian Bond Sano. Bond 3. Ugh, again. When you play this card, draw 1 card. And he's only 3 costs. Then you may choose up to 2 cards from your life and add them to your hand. And if you chose to add 1 or more cards to your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Now, Bond 3 is really, really whack, but this card is really, really strong. So that is kind of the catch-22 there. Really, really strong. Strong self-awakening, or strong awakening. He draws you a card to replace himself, adds more cards to your hand off your life, and then KO something. So it's really, really stupid strong. But yeah, that is pretty much that. That is all of the green cards, and I'm going to do another video for yellow, and of course when the next colors reveal, I'm going to do a color review for that. But let me know what you guys think. We've seen some things. Certain things are kind of getting spoiled. We already know we're getting a Piccolo SR, and we also saw that we're getting a Super Saiyan Evolution Vegeta green SR, so I'm really, really excited about that. Especially since we've already gotten like multiple little green cards for Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I think we got like 1 in set 3 for Crossworlds, but I'm just very excited to see how this is going to work. And he's probably going to have Universe 7 on him, so we'll be able to play him for, colorless mana if you're running a Universe 7 leader. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one. It'll be coming out for yellow. Thanks, and you guys have a great day. Bye.